about having the hub at the track. Dubai is another place that has that, and you go to Dubai quite a lot as well. What do you think of the racing over there?
I do. I don't do the week to week as much as Rishi and Tom and those guys do, who do a brilliant job through the winter. But I'm lucky enough to do 3 or 4 during the course of the winter, and I enjoy it. And Meydan is so huge. It's not. It perhaps hasn't got the sort of atmospheric intimacy that Nadal Shiba used to have for the week to week carnival racing. But there's no doubt that the facility as regards the track and where the horses train is significantly better. And certainly the turf track in Meydan is probably one of the best in the world. It's incredibly well maintained, and even though the sun's shining all the time, it's beautifully prepared, and you'd run any horse on it quite happily. So that's great. It's a genuinely world-class facility, and on World Cup night it really comes into its own. If you want to run the world's richest horse race, you want it in a grand, spectacular, show-stopping venue, and that can, they have the mechanics there to be able to deliver that.
And leading up, you obviously have the Breakfast with the Stars as well. Do you work at that as well?
I just get to enjoy it, Sammy. So yeah, like everyone else, I just get to enjoy it, and I do. It's great fun.
It's a great track morning as well. What do you think makes it kind of so different to something like the Breeders' Cup?
I suppose you've got a bit more of a narrative leading up to the event, insofar as at the tracks you've had the carnival. I mean, the carnival has done enormous things to
all the races
raise,
leading up to it.
to raise the profile of World Cup nights, and then you have the competition between the locally trained horses and then horses from all over the world. I think where Dubai really scores is that they're able to draw horses from the best horses from the United States on the dirt track, best horses from Europe, and the best horse from the Far East, and there isn't really another race meeting that can do that.
Yeah,
I think it really is the only one where you're likely to see, Bob Baffert, John Size, and Aidan O'Brien. And it's that you don't get that really anywhere else in the world. So I think on that score, in terms of the variety of countries they draw horses from, they score really, really heavily. I mean, geographically, obviously they're well located for that, but having a really good turf course and having put the dirt back in, which I know is controversial to some, but then you're going to get your
it brings the Americans over, doesn't it?
Exactly. You're going to get those absolute big name horses. And I think that night, it's a bit like the Breeders' Cup can be brilliant all the way through the night. You could have 10 fantastic races, and then if the Breeders' Cup Classic is a little bit disappointing, you walk away thinking, was that a brilliant event? Did the other races make up for it? Whereas if you have that one big star name in the Classic, it kind of brings the whole event alive. And I think it's a bit like that on World Cup night. You could have a brilliant race for the Dubai Turf and a fantastic Shima Classic, which has significance for the whole European turf season, but you really need that. You need that one massive name, really, in the World Cup to bring it alive, and that goes right back to the days of Cigar winning the first one. And look at Arrogate 2 years ago when they put the dirt back in. It sort of brought the whole thing to life.